Imagine coming home to a secret so shocking that you can't unsee it. Would you still handle it?
Have you ever returned from a trip thinking everything at home would be exactly the same, only to find out it wasn't? That's exactly what happened to me. I had been away on a week-long business trip, juggling endless meetings, presentations, and deadlines. I was exhausted, my mind cluttered with work, and I could hardly wait to step into the comfort of my own home. I imagined Daniel, my husband, greeting me with a smile, maybe even a small welcome back surprise. And yet, nothing prepared me for the phone call I received that evening. It was Lisa, my neighbor, calling with a voice I had never heard before, tense, urgent, almost trembling.
"Sarah,"
She said.
"I didn't mean to tell you this, but I can't unsee it."
I froze. What could she have seen? My mind instantly jumped to worst-case scenarios. Was it something about the house? Something about Daniel? Or worse, my mother-in-law, Margaret? I felt a chill run down my spine. Lisa explained she had been reviewing her home security footage, nothing unusual at first, but then something caught her attention, something that involved Daniel and Margaret while I was gone. She hesitated, almost swallowing her words.
It's better if you don't tell him,"
She whispered, and then added,
"Come alone."
My heart pounded. What had they done? Why the secrecy? And why now? As I sat there staring at the phone, my mind spun. Betrayal? Danger? Or some bizarre misunderstanding? I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the urgency in Lisa's voice kept me silent. I knew this story mattered. It wasn't just gossip. Something about what she had seen felt dangerous. My trust in the people closest to me suddenly felt fragile, like glass about to shatter. I knew one thing for certain. What came next could change everything. But stepping out that door, walking toward Lisa, I had no idea just how far the truth would stretch, or how shocking the first revelation would be.
So Lisa saw something that Daniel and his mom did while Sarah was away. But if it looked innocent, why is Lisa so terrified? We need to see this for ourselves.
I barely had time to catch my breath before Lisa ushered me into her living room, a dim space lit only by the glow of her TV screen.
"You need to see this."
She said, her hands trembling slightly. My stomach sank as I realized that whatever she had seen, it wasn't just a casual observation. It was something she felt I needed to witness for myself. The footage started, grainy and slightly blurry, but unmistakable. There was Daniel, my husband, and Margaret, my mother-in-law, moving around my house while I was away. At first glance, it seemed innocent enough. They were whispering, arranging things on the dining table, passing envelopes back and forth. But the way Daniel glanced over his shoulder, quick and anxious, and the way Margaret's smile didn't reach her eyes, it all felt wrong. Every movement hinted at secrets, but what kind? Betrayal? Or something more sinister? I watched, frozen, my mind spinning. Could this really be happening? The envelope exchanged between them looked like it contained documents or money, something heavy, something deliberate. Every small gesture, every glance, screamed a story I wasn't supposed to see. I felt a knot in my chest. Betrayal is a slow poison, and just watching this unfold made it taste bitter. "Do you see it too?" Lisa asked softly, as if afraid I might snap. I nodded, though I didn't fully understand what I was seeing. Questions raced through my head. Why would Daniel risk being caught? Why would Margaret involve herself in something secretive like this? And most importantly, was I walking into a confrontation I wasn't prepared for? I couldn't look away, but fear and curiosity clawed at me at the same time. The footage ended abruptly, leaving me staring at the screen, my heart hammering in my chest. Lisa leaned in and whispered, almost in a panic, "It's worse than it looks, but I can't explain it over the phone." I realized then that whatever Daniel and Margaret were doing, I couldn't ignore it, and I couldn't confront it blindly. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming.
Oh my god, so Daniel and Margaret's actions on the footage seem subtle. But why would they look so secretive if it's nothing serious? Something is not adding up. We need to see more.
Walking to Lisa's felt like stepping into a story I didn't want to be part of. Every step echoed in my chest like a warning, my mind spinning with possibilities. What exactly had Daniel and Margaret been doing? Betrayal? Theft? Something worse? I tried to prepare myself, but nothing could have braced me for what I was about to see. Lisa met me at the door, her eyes wide and serious.
I need you to see everything.
She said. She led me into the dimly lit living room again, the security monitor glowing ominously in the corner. My pulse raced as she rewound the footage, showing small, seemingly innocent actions. Daniel moving boxes, Margaret adjusting something on the shelf. Each frame should have been mundane, but the way they looked at each other, furtive, almost conspiratorial, made my skin crawl. I asked Lisa, "Why are they doing this? What does it mean?" She shook her head.
I can't tell you exactly. I only know that something about it feels off. Dangerous, maybe. That's why I called you. I didn't want anyone else to see this before you.
My heart pounded. Betrayal was one thing, but danger? Suddenly, I was no longer just a worried wife. I was a woman walking into a situation I might not control. The tension was unbearable, like standing on the edge of a cliff, knowing a single misstep could send you tumbling. I kept thinking about all the times Daniel had been unusually secretive, all the little moments I had brushed off as harmless. Margaret's perfect smiles at family dinners now seemed sinister. Had I been blind? Or was this my imagination running wild? Lisa's voice cut through my spiraling thoughts.
If you confront them, be ready for the truth. Whatever it is.
Her words hung in the air like a warning. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. I had to know. I had to face it. I walked home slowly, each step heavier than the last, my mind a storm of fear and anticipation. Daniel and Margaret were waiting, and I was about to walk straight into the eye of the storm. But what I would discover when I finally confronted them would make everything I thought I knew about my family turn upside down.
Okay now, so Daniel and Margaret acted suspiciously but now are calm. Could this be just a misunderstanding or is there something they are hiding? We need to watch how this unfolds before judging.
I walked through my front door, my hands trembling slightly, every creak of the floor sounding louder than usual. Daniel was in the living room, pretending to read a magazine, while Margaret was perched on the sofa, smiling that calm, composed smile she always wore. But today it felt different, strained, tense, like a mask stretched too thin. My mind raced. I had seen the footage, I had heard Lisa's warning, and now I had to confront the truth. I started cautiously, my voice steady even though my heart was hammering. Daniel, Margaret, I need to ask you something. They looked up, surprised but not panicked. Daniel's eyes flickered nervously. Margaret's smile didn't falter, but there was a tension beneath it I couldn't ignore. I thought about the footage again, those envelopes, the whispers, the secretive movements, and I realized that appearances could be deceiving. But what did it all mean? I remembered every subtle sign from the past week. Daniel coming home late, phone calls he quickly ended, Margaret lingering a little too long in the kitchen while I was out. It all made sense in the worst way. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about my assumptions. Could I have misjudged them? I asked Daniel directly, "What were you doing while I was gone?" His hands fidgeted with the magazine, and for a moment I feared the answer would confirm everything I dreaded. Margaret shifted slightly, her composure unshaken, but I could see her eyes dart toward a drawer in the corner. My pulse quickened. Daniel finally spoke, his voice quiet, careful.
Sarah, it's not what it looks like.
My stomach dropped. Not what it looks like? I repeated, my voice tight. Every instinct screamed at me, this is it, the truth, the betrayal. But then he paused, as if weighing how much I could handle. Before he could explain, a soft knock at the door startled both of us. My heart skipped. Was this another complication? Another secret waiting to be revealed? The tension in the room felt like it was about to snap. And that's when I realized whatever was about to happen next would completely change everything I thought I knew about my family, and possibly my own judgment. Daniel took a deep breath, and for the first time I saw the exhaustion in his eyes. Not guilt, not fear,
Sarah,
he began.
what you saw, it wasn't betrayal.
My stomach twisted. Not betrayal. Every instinct I had screamed otherwise. I held my breath as he explained. The envelopes, the whispered conversations, the secretive behavior. It had all been part of a surprise for me. Margaret chimed in, her calm composure finally softening.
We were planning your promotion celebration.
She said gently.
We wanted to do something special while you were away, but we had to keep it hidden, so it would be a true surprise.
My mind refused to catch up. The security footage, the anxious glances, all the secrecy, it wasn't sinister, it was meticulous planning. All the fear, the suspicion, the worst-case scenarios I had imagined, they had been wrong. I laughed, nervously at first, then wholeheartedly. Relief washed over me, but alongside it was a lingering awareness. How easily my mind had jumped to conclusions. How quickly trust had felt fragile. The experience had been a jolt, a reminder that our perceptions are fragile and our imaginations can turn innocent actions into dramatic betrayals. And yet, the emotional spikes of the past days, the fear, the panic, the confrontation, had felt real. I realized that while the secret wasn't damaging, the feelings it stirred were important. They reminded me that honesty, communication, and clarity matter more than assumptions. I felt grateful for Lisa, too, who had alerted me but left the surprise intact, balancing trust and vigilance perfectly. As I hugged Daniel, I reflected. Sometimes, the things that seem like betrayal, danger, or deception are really just our own fears magnifying the truth. And sometimes, the people closest to us are capable of gestures so thoughtful they almost look suspicious from the outside. So, I ask you, the viewer, have you ever misjudged someone you trusted? Have you let fear and imagination override reality? Comment below and share your story. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because sometimes the most shocking tales aren't about betrayal. They're about the secrets we never expected could be acts of love. The story ends with a lingering glance at the security footage, just enough to remind you, what you see isn't always the truth.
Sometimes the truth isn't what it seems. What would you have done if you were in Sarah's shoes? Let me know in the comment section.